What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's lesson we'll be creating a sketch illustration of a Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park Rebirth. Welcome back everyone, thanks for joining me today. For this lesson we'll need a sketch pad and a pencil. For this lesson I'll begin with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick, but you're welcome to use whatever you're most comfortable with. We're going to start by breaking down the basic shape and composition of our drawing before we get into the details. Now I want to start with the hinge of the mouth first. So we're going to start somewhere around here. Let's just lightly sketch out a small circle for the hinge. Now I want to separate the upper and lower jaw. So from that hinge, I'm just going to draw a straight line going across towards the left. It's right about there. We can define the length of the beak. And then going back to the hinge, we're going to open up the jaw, coming down with an angled line towards the bottom. It's almost the same length as the top. Now from here, we're just going to draw the spine. Go all the way around. I want to curve this around the neck, come down, and then across towards the bottom. Now if you step back and take a quick look, we just defined the pose and composition of our drawing with 3 basic lines. So we're going to start to add some shape and volume. Let's go back to the hinge. We're just going to split the skull going up towards the top of the head. Now this is the crown. Now I want to curve the head with a basic curve going across and then down towards the tip of the beak. Now again, we're just looking for the basic shapes first before we get into the details. Now from here, angle the beak coming down towards the jaw. And we'll draw a straight angled line coming down towards that bottom tip. Let's go back up to the top. I want to add some volume to the neck. I'm just going to follow this curve around the outside of the neck and then down towards the bottom. And then go a little bit wider across the bottom of the neck. Let's go back to the hinge. We're going to draw the inside of the neck. We're going to come down. We're just going to cross over the jaw and then bend this out towards the side. Now this pose is currently quite flat, so we want to add some dimension and depth. So we're going to start with the inside edge of the mouth. Let's start back at the hinge. Just going to split the jaw, coming down with a straight angled line towards the back side of the hinge. So we're going to add 2 little circles right here. Let's go back to the beak. We're going to draw a straight angled line coming down towards that back hinge. Let's come straight down towards the tip of the lower jaw. Let's go up to the top of the head. Right about here, we're going to sketch out a circle, just a large circle going around. This is the area around the eye. Let's move over to the left side and draw a smaller circle. Now to quickly go back and erase the top area of the neck, just crossing inside the jaw. This will help us get a better look as we go. And now we're going to use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more detail and refine the shapes. Let's start with the top edge of the mouth. We're going to start from the beak. We're just going to curve this up and then down. We're just going to follow this line coming in towards that hinge. Just adding these little curves, this little wave that goes across the edge of the mouth. Now right here, it's going to bend this around and then down across the jaw. Let's add a fold, round this out, and just pull this up towards the top of the eye. Now I want to add some definition around the eye. We're going to start with the brow. Right here, it's going to add a curve coming in, go all the way around, and then down along the side. Now right in here, let's draw a small circle for the pupil. Let's also add a small dot in the center. And add a thick ridge. Just follow that circle on the outside, going around, and just go up towards the top. Now the top of the head is going to fold around the brow and then down. So we're just going to bump this up, and we'll add a little bit more shape to the top. Going around the nose. So we got a little bump here, going out. Now let's round up the tip of the beak, just pulling that down. Now on the outside of the eye, we're going to add an indent. It's going to come down and then out. So like a little reverse S coming around. Just pull that up underneath. Now I want to add some shape to the lower jaw. We're going to start right around here. Just going to curve this around. Now we're going to work our way in towards this line. Adding a little bit of a wave, so it's not perfectly straight. Now as you come down towards the bottom, just going to round this out, rounding out the mouth towards the outside. Let's go back to the outside, curve the chin, coming down and then up. Now along this line, again, we're just going to add a little bit more shape, coming out towards the jaw, and then bend that up. Let's add that cartilage around the corner of the mouth. We're going to start from the top and bend this in and then down. Now along the back side of the mouth, we just want to mimic this curve. Just following that all the way in towards the corner. Also going to add that cartilage across the back. Let's add some more shape to the back of the mouth. Again, just adding that wave. And just working our way out towards the edge of the mouth. Let's add the tongue. Starting from here in the back of the throat, I'm going to go out, down, and then out. Just add a little point on the end. Now let's go back and add some more shape to the back of the neck. We're going to start up here. Now I want to add a few folds and wrinkles. So we're just going to pull this in, step back, bump this around, and then down. Add a couple more, and just smooth out the back of the neck. Just adding a few bumps along the way, coming down. Now from the chin and the jaw, just add some wrinkles in this area. So it's compressed. So we're going to see some folds across the bottom of the neck. Add a jowl coming across. So this is a little flap of skin that comes in. And then work our way down around the outside. On the right side, we're going to start to see the row of spines. So we're going to start up here, at a point going up. Go a little bit bigger as we come out toward the bottom. Just going to fade that out. Add a couple more along the top. And now at this stage, I want to go back and just clean this up again before we get into the details and shading. Now once we clean up our drawing, I'm going to switch my pencil to this 0.9mm to get some more contrast and detail in our drawing. So I'm going to start with the eyes. Just want to darken up the contours. We're also looking to add some more detail as we go. So along the top edge of the brow, I'm just going to add some folds and wrinkles going across. Then as we go to the outside, I'm just going to fade that out. And then work our way across the bottom of the eye. Again, just adding some more folds. Going across. And go inside the eye. Add another fold across the iris, and then just darken that up. Now inside this socket, we're going to add some more wrinkles. Starting from the eye and working our way out. Now I'm just going to work our way across the top of the brow. Just add that fold coming down along the side. Some more wrinkles along the outside. And we'll add that indent. Now I'm going to make the tip of the beak a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go up. And this is the benefit of sketching a little bit lighter at the beginning, because you can always go back and just modify and make some adjustments as we go. I'm going to add some wrinkles across the bottom edge of the mouth. I want to go back and just erase that light sketch underneath. Just going to define that cartilage on the corner of the mouth. Also adding a few wrinkles inside. Just pulling that down from the top and bottom. I'm just going to add a split in the center of the tongue, and there in the back side coming down towards the tip. And there's a thin ridge that goes across the side of the neck. So just going to lightly sketch this out as a guide coming down. Now from here, it's going to lightly add some wrinkles and folds going across that seam. Now we're going to go in and start adding the teeth, but to protect our drawing from smudging, I'm going to use a separate piece of paper just underneath my hand. So we're going to start over on the left side. So I'm going to start with that back row of teeth. Just adding these little points coming down. And we can vary the length and size, going all the way towards the corner of the mouth. Now let's draw that top row along the front. A few smaller ones on the inside. And now we're going to go across the bottom, starting with the back row again. And in the front. Now going up to the top, we're just going to add that nostril and just darken up the inside. I also want to see the back side of the brow. I'm just going to pull this up in between and just blend that out and add a couple more bumps in the background. Now I'm going to go and start darkening up the inside of the mouth along the top, going in between the teeth. I just want to push the back row of teeth into a little bit of a silhouette. So it's going to add a medium tone inside. Also the back of the cartilage, we're going to go with a medium tone. So some of the light will just poke through this thin skin. Now let's go to that eye socket. We're just going to darken up the top. So the light's coming from the top of our page going across. So this brow is going to cast a shadow. So it'll be darker along the top. And then we'll fade that down to a medium shade. And we want to go around that pupil just to make it stand out. Now I'm going to switch to the side edge of my 2mm pencil and start adding some shadows. So let's start with this cartilage. So I'm going to go a little bit darker along the top because this ridge is going to cast that shadow. And it'll go lighter as we come down. Let's go to this socket. It's going to darken that up. And we want to go darker along the top. Now with the tongue. Going to add a medium shade inside the tongue. And again, we're just going to darken up the back, because this is where the least amount of light is going to hit. It's in the back of the throat. Let's darken up that seam. And also the bottom of the tongue. Also going to push those back teeth into a silhouette. And I'd like to use my 0.9mm pencil to just clean up our shading, just to get in those tighter spaces. And inside the tongue, we're just going to add a little bit of texture, just going across. So now that we've defined our contours and darkened up the darkest areas of our drawing, it's time to start adding our shadows. So to reiterate, the light's coming from the top left side going across, so the shadows sit along the bottom edge of each shape with the highlights across the top. So we're going to move to the side edge of our pencil. Let's start with the side of the beak. I'm just going to lightly darken up the front edge, just coming down below this ridge, and we're just going to fade that down towards the mouth. So this is a shadow line. So again, darken up the top and fading that down. The light's also coming from behind the character. Now right here, the light's going to hit this top edge a little bit more. So just going to fade that out. And then from the brow, working our way up. We also want to darken up the back side of the eyes. Now let's darken up this area, right in between the jaw. And then fade that up towards the top. Now it's going to work along this line. So this line will be the darkest area. So just going to go and just shade that in. And then fade this out as you come down towards the bottom. And we also want to fade that out towards the side, towards the left and right. And this could be quite rough. So if you're getting some of these overlapping lines, that's totally fine. It'll help add some texture later. So we're just doing our light pass first. Now across this jaw. Let's darken up the bottom and then fade that up. So we're starting with this medium pass first, and we can go back and add some more contrast after. I'm just going to darken up the spines and then fade that in. And then along the seam, we're going to add some wrinkles. So we're going to darken up that center and then fade that out towards the left, and leaving a little gap in between. So you see that it starts to create this effect that these little folds and wrinkles inside. I'll go a little bit bigger with some of these, and then smaller. And then fade that out. You can also do a couple over in the opposite direction towards the right. Go back and just darken up the bottom edge of the mouth and then fade that up. Add some darker lines to create those wrinkles. Now across the lower jaw from the mouth, coming down. This jaw is going to cast a shadow, so we're just going to darken up the top, and again just fading that down. And switch back to my 0.9mm and start adding that core shadow. So we want to leave a little bit of a gap along the bottom edge of the mouth, so some of this light's going to reflect back up into the head. And this technique will actually help add some more shape to our drawing. Also along this ridge, so darken that up and fade that down, just adding these little stripes and folds. Also add a little bit of a glare across the top edge. I want to do the same thing across the chin. So you can see that we have a little bit of reflection across the bottom with that lighter edge going up across the jaw, and we're just going to fade that out. Also adding a bit of glare along the top. Now I'm going to move to my smaller pencil. This is my 0.7. Just add those cracks and crevices across the jaw and the head. I'm just going to add some spots across the top. Now, as we get near the end, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and detail, and always be sure to sign my artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of a Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park Rebirth. Now, if you enjoyed today's sketch lesson, I think you'll really love what's happening inside our Dollar Art Club. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to all our upcoming art camps, courses, and exclusive workshops. You also get to be part of a private member community. It's a safe space for you to stay creative and interact with other like-minded artists just like you. No pressure at all, but if you enjoyed this lesson, I'd love for you to give it a try. And quite honestly, it might be the best dollar you ever spent. I'll leave the link down for you in the description below. Stay creative, and I'll see you in the club.